Hard sports all plays. 365, we making a place. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tight the laces. Hard sports all plays. Network. Hard sports all plays. Network. We on top of our game. Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays.
This is the Fox D Streaming Network. Register to come on our channel at foxdnetwork.com.
Welcome to Real Talk. It's Kenny Moore here. Got a couple of guests joining me to help me chop it up and do some real talk. We got my man Mike Hughes back with me. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
What's going on, Kenny? Chilling, bro.
Good to have you back. And then we got the coach. Coach, welcome back. Welcome on. Thanks for being on. Representing Texas. How's it going?
Man, going good, man. Going good.
Good. So listen, let's get right into it. We got a few topics we want to talk. We talk NFL and NBA on this show. And so we're going to start with NFL. And so we're talking top 10, you know, your top 10 teams. It's a little early. We're only in week 3. We're kind of, just getting into it. But just curious to hear what your top 10 teams are right now. And I'm going to start with Mike, and then, Coach, you can go.
Okay.
For me, I have the list right here. I got to pull it up. But it was definitely the Rams at 1. I definitely had the Rams at 1. I had them going into the season, especially after beating Tom Brady, which, Coach, talk to me, Coach.
What's up, baby?
You picked Tampa on our show on Sunday.
I
Y'all was
did.
laughing at me. Y'all was laughing at me. How do you bet on TB12? Because I bet on this boy from Detroit coming to LA, sprinkling a little bit of Fresh Prince sauce in it. He came out with it. He gave the sauce. He gave the swag. My boy, Matthew Stafford. If he can stay healthy, I don't think anybody beats this team, especially the way Kupp's been playing. Higby's been stepping up in a bigger way. I wish they had a better tight end. But, Sony Michel's coming into himself. So I'm really excited for it. If I had to give my top 10 list all together, can't find it, which sucks because we literally just talked about this. But, obviously Tampa, the Ravens are definitely still up there to me, especially after beating the Chiefs. The Chiefs fell. The Chiefs are at 5 for me. So right now I have it. I think my list was Rams, Tampa, and then I think I had Ravens, Green Bay, Cowboys, Chiefs, and a couple others. But I think the Bills are definitely still in there. I think there's a lot of great teams. Tennessee. I'm really excited for it. I think it's way too early, but those are definitely my top 5 right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is, a way too early top 10 list.
Yeah.
For sure. Go ahead, Coach. Who you got?
Hey, that quarterback, where is he from?
Which one? Stafford?
Yeah.
He's from LA, isn't he?
No.
Nah, he's from Texas, boy.
Texas?
Why do you think he said it? Come on,
I knew
man.
he was. I knew he was somewhere hot.
That's
That's what I
layup.
knew.
Hey, what's up? Hey, what's crazy about it, even Stafford, my high school played him in the state championship game.
Okay.
Hey, he's from Highland Park. Cool dude. But anyway, man, my top 10, I'm going to go with the Broncos at 10. I'm going to go 10 down.
Okay.
I got the Broncos at 10. I got Carolina at 9, just because I think they're both proven. They haven't really just played anybody to have that win to be like, hey, I belong. Then I have the 49ers coming in at 8. I have Cleveland at 7. I have Buffalo at 6. I have the Raiders at 5. I have Green Bay at 4. I have the Cardinals at 3. I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay at 2, and then I got the Rams at 1.
Talk to me, Coach. I love to hear it, bro.
So, Coach, let me ask you this though. You had Denver on the list. Are you a believer in that team, or is their record more of a mirage based on the teams that they played?
No, I'm a big believer of them, because if you hear me always talk about, especially Denver, is Teddy check down. You're gonna hear me say that all the time. One thing about Teddy,
he's gonna take care of that ball.
He ain't gonna take no risk.
Yeah,
he's gonna check you down. And what kind of coach they have? He's a defensive mind coach. If you see what they drafted a lot of defensive guys. They got some receivers like, hey, go play. Just don't turn over the ball. So they're gonna play defense. That weather's gonna get bad in Denver because it's coming up. It's about to hit that October. So they'll be fine, man. I think they're proven. I think they'll make the playoffs just like Carolina. I say Sam Darnold. I've always liked Sam Darnold. And when now he has the OC, Brady's legit OC. So he's gonna do what Teddy didn't do with Carolina. He's gonna throw it down the field. He's a vertical guy, and that's what Brady likes to throw.
Right. And I feel like the biggest thing with Denver is what it's been for recent years is just health at the end of the day. You know, the health of Von Miller, the health of Teddy, the health of Bradley, and a couple other cats. I mean, if they could stay healthy, I think, you have the DBs to be able to go against high-powered offenses. You have Surtain, you have Fuller, you have Callahan, you have, Vic Fangio. All three of those guys I named, other than Surtain, are from Chicago. They played in Chicago together for years. They understand what it takes. Von understands what it takes. Bradley's a dog. I definitely think it's a great list.
Yeah, I think Denver can be a good team. I just want to see them play against some better teams to really get in, to see if they're legitimate. I'm just, based off of those games, it's just kind of tough to tell whether or not they're legitimate. And I'm with you guys about Sam Darnold. I thought he got a bad rap in New York, and he got dealt a bad hand as well because he didn't really have any talent. Like it's hard to win without talent. It's hard to win without skill position players, and he didn't really, he's playing with wasn't playing with a full deck. So I'm just glad he's got opportunity in Carolina. As a Cowboys fan, I hope he stinks up the joint this week. But but that's besides the point. But let me get to my list. I got the Rams number 1. I'm gonna go 1-10, and then I have the Bucks 2. I got Bills 3. I got the Browns at 4. I got the Cardinals at 5. The Raiders at 6. Cowboys at 7. Ravens at 8. Packers at 9, and the Chargers at 10. Oh, did either one of you guys have the Packers on your list?
I did.
Yeah, I had the Packers.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Packers on there.
Okay.
My list was trash. I couldn't find it, but I had to do it on the spree. But those are a great list. I think my list was closer to Coach's though, in all honesty, because I know for a fact I did not have the Chargers, but I definitely did have. And it's no disrespect. I just feel like
again, this is a way too early top 10.
Right. I definitely did have Carolina. But Carolina was also. I wanted to ask you guys too, because Kenny, you kind of touched on it, and we have some time. We're waiting for everybody else to get in here. With Sam Darnold, and you see it with Mitchell Trubisky, and you see it with others throughout the league. Being quiet and being responsible and being respectful to your coaches and the issues that are going around in the locker room. Do you feel like that's a big reason why guys get moved? Because if Mitchell Trubisky would have went out there, we're seeing public. I was a big Mitchell Trubisky guy. I felt like, he didn't have a lot of big strengths. Same with Sam Darnold, where you didn't get to see a lot of the plays designed around him. One, for Trubisky is because of Nagy, and 2, for Sam was because he just didn't have the weapons to have anything designed. Do you feel like guys like that are the scapegoat because of the fact that they stay silent, that they don't address to the media those issues of Adam Gase and Matt Nagy's and not having around pieces? Because you see with Aaron Rodgers makes it known, brother. Aaron Rodgers lets you know, like, this is crap. this is not what I want. This is not on me. This is not, what should be going on. Do you think those guys need to start being more public about how they feel about the team?
Hey, go ahead, Kenny.
I don't know. Like it's a good, it's a
like not a disrespectful way, but
yeah, I guess it all depends. So I think part of that too, it depends on your resume too. The more resume you have, the more leeway you get. So I think the deeper your resume is, you get more leeway and get more of an opportunity to say how you feel, as opposed to guys that are, and I think that was the problem with Sam Darnold is he just didn't have enough of a resume to be able to, speak his mind.
Right.
And I don't know, and he might not have been that type of guy, like you said, and being in the New York market, it's a different market. I'm a native New Yorker, so I know how it goes down there, and it's aggressive, it's in your face. So sometimes it could be the market as well. But I think it all depends on the resume. I think that gives you a little more rope, because like you said earlier, a guy like Aaron Rodgers, he's able to say whatever he wants to say because he's got all these years in the league, and he's had all these accomplishments behind him. So when he says different things or speaks his mind, it's taken it's respected more, it's received easier, and you're not knocked for it as much. So that's what I think it
is. Now I just think if when you take Trubisky, you came in with Nagy. Nagy was supposed to be that great OC guru, and so like when you hear those things about these people, it's kind of like I'm just gonna follow his lead. So I just, like you said, it just depends really who they, because when you come in as a rookie, man, it's just like coming in from junior high to high school or high school to college. You just take your lead, you listen, you look like yes sir, no sir. You trying to follow and see where your place is. And I think what a lot of them is, they don't know where their place is. And if you look, you say Aaron Rodgers, man, 15 years ago, Aaron Rodgers wasn't acting like this.
Right.
That's because he got discount double check and he got in the commercials. He started getting that cash. So now he's like, hey, I have the right now because I'm like a 2 or 3 time MVP player / I won a Super Bowl. So that's the thing. And if you go back and you look at it, you could take, that's why one of the biggest reasons Tom Brady left. Because for 20 years, he had to act like the kid in the middle, in the corner. Can't say nothing, get talked bad to. Because you look at Brady 2 years ago and you look at Brady now, he's doing more commercials. He's more open. He's having
a blast.
Yeah, and I think that's what it takes over time. It's all about the coaches, man, and how you make that person feel in that area.
Yeah, I think the other thing is too, is that sometimes it's the team that you're on too. Sometimes people, if it's not a marquee team, then people don't really care what you got to say anyway. Right. So that's part of it too.
Right.
Yeah. So let's move into this next topic. The rumors are heating up. They're heating back up around Deshaun Watson to Philadelphia. So the question is, do you think this is the right move for the Eagles with what we've seen from Jalen Hurts so far? What do you think, Coach?
Man, to be honest with you, I live in Houston. I haven't heard anything about Deshaun. Deshaun is doing what the Patriots do. I'm going to sit low and let time just pass by and then just go over it. But if anywhere, in my opinion, I said it from the beginning, it'd be Miami. They got more capital. They got more they can give up than going into the Eagles. Because I don't even think they don't have anything. They think they're almost broke.
Yeah, that's a great point. You got to have some pieces to be able to. You got to have pieces to be able to, offer in a trade. And they want to break the bank to trade Deshaun Watson. So I think that's part of the reason why that hasn't happened. But also, let me go to you, Mike. Let me see what you think.
Dude, like, what are we talking about right now? I'm a Chicago fan. I have no ties to the Eagles other than them breaking my heart in 2018 and that Nick Foles is on my team right now. So I have no animosity or no love towards Jalen Hurts. I watched a lot of Jalen Hurts in college, though. I definitely think Jalen is cementing himself as a leader. He's definitely being that guy. He's definitely doing a lot with a little. If you have this man in fantasy, I mean, if he's still in the waiver wire, pick him up right now. This guy's dropping 25 points a game. Like he's definitely cementing himself as that QB1. If I'm not mistaken, I do believe he changed his number to QB1 too. Like that's a dog mentality. I'm gonna wear
No
two.
doubt.
I'm gonna wear 2 my first year because I didn't earn it, and then I'm gonna wear 1, and I'm gonna show you why I'm QB1. Why would I, despite regardless, I should say, of what happens with Deshaun, if he's innocent, if he's not? I don't like the way Deshaun was carrying himself before, the acquisition or the accusings of him came out of what happened with all of that, and conversation for a different day. But before that, he wanted out of Houston. He wasn't giving it his all, and understandably so, because it's the Texans organization that you traded D-Hop, you traded JJ. But at the end of the day, Deshaun never really showed me that he was that team player kind of guy. He's definitely a dog. He can definitely win you some games. But I really like what Jalen's showing you. He's a lot cheaper. You have him for a lot longer. He's younger. He's not younger by much. I believe Deshaun's like 25. But I definitely think why would you do that? Why would you do something to shake up this locker room? First of all, I don't think financially, like you said, they can afford Deshaun no matter who they move. They have a lot of dead cap. They're paying guys who still aren't on the team as of right now. I think they're still paying Alshon Jeffrey, who's not even present. So
Wow.
it's definitely a tough situation. I don't know if they're still paying him. I knew they were this offseason. But it's definitely one of those situations where financially I don't think it makes sense. And because of the way Jalen's playing, it's very early on, like we said, just like our predictions. But I don't see – he hasn't given me a reason to say, we have a QB1 on a rookie contract. Let's go out there for no reason. It's not like you're in a Super Bowl contending window right now. You definitely have time for Jalen to develop. So I say roll with Jalen.
Yeah, I see your point there. I think the other part of it too is that, again, we kind of talked about it earlier with
There to go.
what you call it, Haley and welcome on.
What's going on? Thank you.
Yeah, so I think the other thing is that you kind of go too quick. You make decisions a little too fast. We were talking about earlier with Sam Darnold, and you give up on guys too soon.
Right.
This is really Jalen Hurts' first year, full year. This is gonna be his first full year as a starter. Like it's kind of, I think you'd be jumping the gun a little bit to make a deal. Now, don't get me wrong, Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback.
Without a doubt.
So or maybe top 3, depending on your rankings. But I think he wants to. I think another reason why it's a bad move is he wants to go to a situation where he's going to a contender.
Right.
So I think he would rather go to Coach's point. I think he would rather go to Miami than he would want to go to Philadelphia, because I think they're a little further along in terms of their development and being ready to really contend in the AFC. So I think they need to be a little patient. If I'm Philly, I'm giving them at least 1 full year as a starter and see what we got. See how the chemistry develops between him and those skill position guys. You got Miles Sanders and Jalen Waddle. So they got some young pieces. And if he's the guy, then you got a 3-headed monster right there of 3 young guys that you could build your team around and build together. So I think I would give it at least 1 year. And like you said also, in terms of Deshaun's legal situation, you got to wait to see how that's going to play out.
Without a doubt.
You got to be really, giving up what they're looking for in terms of, draft capital or trade capital. That's a lot to ask for a guy where you don't know when he's going to be on the field. I see your face there, Coach. Like you got something to say.
Coach, I got a question for you though, because I know you're gonna lead into it, and I kind of want to play off of what you're about to say.
What's that?
For you, as a coach, I've been on so many teams. I've coached a couple teams, and I'm kind of at this point in my life right now where I could play with just about anybody. I've played with gangbangers, I've played with nerds, I've played with the nice kids, the meanest kids. But despite what happens with Deshaun, say he's innocent, say whether it's proven or not, he pays off these people and then the case goes away. Would you as a GM bring in Deshaun? Do you feel like some players on that, Eagles team might not want to play with Deshaun, regardless of him being innocent in a court of law or not? You bring in a guy with issues like that, like a Aaron Hernandez or something along those lines, or a Big Ben at some point. At some time, even AB said something about comments about Big Ben's off the field situation. So would you do that? Would you sacrifice Jalen's reputation for Deshaun's?
I mean, if I was Deshaun, I wouldn't go to the Eagles, number one.
Oh, without a doubt.
But you gotta look at it as this, and this is you look at Deshaun and the whole situation. From what we hear, because I'm in Texas,
right?
The rumor was pretty much he got butt naked and said, "What can he get?" If they said nothing, he pulled his pants up and said, "Okay." That's all I hear about it from what people say. So other than that, he got issues, but he hasn't really in a locker room. You probably get over it because guess what? If he had, I mean, people make mistakes, people do stupid stuff. Everybody's gonna forgive him and let him play. Like that's why I say one thing about it, if he goes to the Dolphins, man, if he clears everything, if I was the Dolphins, I would. If the Texans said they want 2 first-round draft picks, I would give them 2 first-round draft picks. Because you got to see what. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of like the Rams. When was the last time Rams had a first-round draft pick? What, Aaron Donald?
I think it was. Wasn't it Goff?
Yeah, because Akers, I think, was second round.
Because so I like how they do things. They're like, hey, we're gonna trade off these top 5, top 10 players at their position, and then we can get 3rd, 4th round draft picks and let these players play, and say, hey, we're trying to win now. So we can trade and cut anybody at any moment. So draft picks is, man, it's just a hope and a wish when you can automatically, like the quarter. Who was the quarterback for the Dolphins?
Tua.
No, what'd you call him?
Oh, Tua turned the ball over.
Yep. So
That's cool.
if you already know that with Tua, but you know what Deshaun's gonna get you because he was with the Texans.
Right.
So let him eat, man. Bring him to Miami. Hey. If he clears everything, I think that's what they should do. Now the Eagles, Deshaun might as well stay where he's at.
I definitely would. I think you got a better option.
Yeah, it's the same situation.
You got better options with Cook too.
Because they both divisions are not strong. Yeah. So it's about the same.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Alana, what you think? Do you think that Philly should make this move and trade for Deshaun, or do you think it's a little too early? What's your thoughts?
I think it's too early. I think we haven't really got a full sample size of Jalen Hurts yet. I think it would be kind of unfair to him because he hasn't really got a chance to prove himself all the way. Like you said, like even you alluded to it, this is kind of his first full year. So I think we should at least give him the year and they can kind of weigh their options towards the end of the year and kind of see how it pans out and see if there's potential there to build on it. If not, then, obviously they can do other options, but I think it would be too fair I think it would be unfair, to pull the trigger on Jalen Hurts so soon, just because he hasn't really had a chance to like integrate himself with that Eagles team and be like the leader for real. And then on top of that, it's like they don't have a great defense either. So it's like there's so many things wrong that it's not, you can't place it at the feet of Jalen Hurts. Like that's not, I don't think that's fair as far as the full assessment for Philly. Now, obviously there's things that he can do well, but that comes with time. But yeah, I would think it would be too soon to pull the trigger on Jalen Hurts right now, me personally. And I don't think Deshaun Watson going there would make any sense because, like you said, or all of you said, it would be the same situation. So it's like, what would even be the point in that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he has he can veto trades. I think that he has that in his contract. So I think he has the final say over where he goes anyway. So if
Deshaun?
he probably wouldn't approve that deal anyway. I got to check that out for sure, but I'm pretty sure he has that built into his deal. Let me ask you this question, though, Coach. I'm gonna go to you with this question. We kind of talked about Tua a little bit. Do you guys think, well, to you, Coach, do you think Tua is a starting caliber quarterback, or you think that he has a future as a starting quarterback in his league?
Yeah, I think arm wise, I think brain wise, yes. Body wise, no, because he can't stay healthy. I think that's one of the biggest. If you go back, you look at it. He got hurt in college twice, 2 years in a row. 2 years he got hurt. Then he got in NFL. He got hurt. I think so. It's just I don't know. He's just one of them guys that just can't stay healthy, man.
Yeah. That is true. All right, so let's move to the next topic. Let's talk about running back. So the question is what's going on with the running back position? Currently in the NFL, there's only 3 running backs that are considered top 5 running backs that are in the top 10 in terms of yardage through week 3. So what do you think is going on? Why do you think, and I'm going to go to you, Alana, first. Why do you think, or what do you think the state of the running back position is in the NFL right now?
I don't think it's valued as much because I don't think it's as necessary anymore. I think a lot of NFL offenses nowadays are kind of predicated around the pass because that's what sells. That's what people want to see. We want to see the long plays. We want to see, a receiver take off from a certain amount of yards and see how far he can go. The ground and pound is not really, it's not what the attraction is anymore. And there's not a lot of consistent enough, I think, running backs that come into the league that have a long staying power. I mean, which that position doesn't have a long staying power anyway. But just from what we've seen in recent history is that most running backs don't really pan out too well. So I think it's kind of diminishing the position. I think it's going to end up being one of those situations where, like how in the NBA, how they have the stretch 4, I think it's going to kind of turn into something like that. Like they're going to take the running back position and kind of just spread it out a little bit more and not be the traditional ground and pound. But yeah, I just don't think that it's not a main attraction there like it was like back in like the older, you know what I'm saying, like in the older days, in the older eras where it was like ground and pound football. We're gonna run the football down your throat, and if we have to, then we'll air it out. Nowadays it's like if we have to, we'll run it. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of the momentum is kind of changed there. So that's me personally. That's what I think. So.
Yeah, I agree. What you think, Mike?
I think she hit it on the head. I mean, that's why she's the GOAT. But I mean, to tie into that and to move it forward, I think it's more of quarterbacks evolving and quarterbacks changing than the running back position in a whole, because guys like Lamar Jackson, guys like Josh Allen and Kyler Murray, they weren't common. We had Michael Vick, and that was really it. We had a couple guys who would go out there on a limb and could get you those extra yards if they needed to, but the plays weren't designed like that. Plays weren't designed for guys like this. Really, the only other guy I could really think about is Colin Kaepernick. Was actually one of those guys who could
Cam Newton.
Right. He Cam Newton as well. Cam Newton is one of those guys who can go out there and get Cam. Super Cam was a different breed. But it was definitely one of those things I take into consideration. I mean, like back in the day, it was all right, you got Jay Cutler, so Matt Forte is your one and only. You were really stuck on the guy that you pay, and you're gonna do that. We see with Mike McCarthy now. I don't care how much Zeke is paid. I don't care if he gets $90 million. Pollard's the faster back, so if I want him in that position, I'm going to put him in that position. If I want ground and pound, I'll put in Zeke. I think you're implementing guys to their strengths. I think we're so deep now, especially in the draft. You're finding great wide receivers in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. Not wide receivers, running backs in those rounds. I definitely think the game is changing. It's unfortunate for the market of running backs. I do feel bad for them because, you do deserve those checks because of people ignore it. I know Coach can be one of those guys to speak on it. Like running backs are without a doubt taking some of the biggest hits throughout that game, aside from the quarterback position and maybe the offensive line. These guys are getting banged up. These guys deserve those checks. But unfortunately, the way the league is going, Coach thought I was going to say something out of pocket. Nah,
I'm listening.
But I definitely think you're seeing right now a Jalen Hurts, a Trevor Lawrence is mobile. You got all these guys, Justin Fields, so on and so forth. Where Justin's in this situation right now where I'm not even going to get into it. But when he's at his best and given the talent and given the opportunity, this man can run down your throat. Like that's just him. And those are just some rookies that I'm naming. We have a Justin Herbert as well. Tua, before the hip injury, was pretty mobile as well. So. I don't know what we still have in that, but I definitely think the league is changing more of a quarterback dynamic than it is really with the running backs. I feel like with running backs, the depth is more serious than it was.
Yeah, that's a good point. That read option has kind of been a game changer in terms of, especially with the athletic quarterback. That's something that's been added to the offense and kind of taken away from the running back a little bit. Coach, what you think about it?
Nah, I mean, I like everything they said. I think a lot of only running back that you have logistically is Henry. It's just straight downhill. Now, if you look at a lot of the teams, your running back has to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield. And now it's still early in the game. Usually, especially when football season, defense always moves faster than offense at the beginning because they're still trying to gel, trying to figure it out. And then a lot of teams now also, they're pretty much, hey, we're going to load this box and we're going to see if you're that quarterback that we think you are. I mean, you go back from the first game of the season, you look at Tampa and Dallas. They said we're gonna bring the house and see if you can throw. I think that's one of the things. A lot of teams giving up the run, or they're just saying, "Hey, you can't throw the football." It just, I mean, there's a lot of different, and then coaching styles. All the coaches are now they're in that Madden age, so they're look. Let's chunk it across the field. Let's throw it all over the field because they're in that Madden age. When I played Madden, what you do? You didn't run the ball that much. You just ran it when you need to. So, but I agree with everybody said, and then I'm a big believer at the running back position. You can go 2-3 running backs at a time and pay them $5-6 million, and so now you can go get that D lineman, or you can get that receiver, or you get that O lineman that can block for that quarterback and throw the football.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is that we've went from a running league to a passing league, and then also this is the era of the two-back system. I think Derrick Henry is probably the only back right now that would consider that's the one back that's in a one back system. I think he's the only one in the league. If I just sticking off the top of my head, most teams are using the two running back system, and then you got your first and second down guy, and then you got your third down back. So those guys are splitting. They're splitting snaps. A lot of times, and you mentioned it. Like as a Cowboys fan, Tony Pollard and Zeke, they're going, they're exchanging in terms of series. So one to play a series, and then another one will come in and play a series. So I think that's then the biggest thing is that, like you said, Coach, is that teams have kind of gone away from running to set up the pass, and it's passing to set up the run, and so it's kind of that dynamic has changed in the NFL. So I think that's the day of the one running back system is kind of going out the window. So I think that's kind of here to stay, and I don't think it's ever going to change. All right, let's move to this next topic. What's wrong with Kansas City? We see Kansas City is off to 1-2 start to start this season. So should we be concerned? Is it time to push the panic button? What's wrong with KC? Coach, I'm going to you. What do you think? What's the problems right now? Why is KC off to a slow start?
Say, man, I'm gonna tell you, like Aaron Rodgers said, just relax. if you go back and look, I think I'm gonna speak on both sides. Offensively, just fumbles, turnover. They just fumbled the ball, pretty much. But I think one of the biggest issues, hence the fact that's why they got Josh Gordon. They needed somebody else to run routes. Sammy Watkins was he was a plus because he's that guy that can run routes and stretch the field. Yes. Hardman's just a returner. He can't run routes. Because if you ever pay attention to Kansas City, they do three things. They take Kelsey, you play in that middle, we drop screens to you because everybody eventually forgets about you. Then we take old Cheetah, hey, you get it hash, hey, you sprint across the field. If that safety's over top, that's flattened. If he drops down, we're gonna throw it over top. I'm gonna throw it 60 yards. People caught on to that, but you don't have that third receiver guy. If you watch the game, they weren't making any plays. Now, defensively, they took, I can't even think his name. They took the D tackle, the all-pro D tackle. Yes, and they moved him to end. Now, he's playing a position he's not used to playing. Hence the fact when he played against Lamar, he couldn't get the read action because he was just crashing down and Lamar was just going. I think that's the big adjustment for them, and because he's usually calls all the pressure up in the middle, which makes you have to roll out to the inside. It's hard to throw the football. So I think those are the two big adjustments. Once Jones figures out, he'll be fine. I hope Josh Gordon, I hope he get his stuff right. They'll be fine.
Okay. So you're saying RELAX, relax. Huh?
Yeah, relax. Hey, because you know what? You know why, Mike? Guess where he's from?
Oh, Lord. It's another Texas guy. Hey, Alana, is it time to push the panic button? Should we be concerned about the Chiefs?
I agree with Coach. I think it's time to relax. I think everybody has to calm down for a second. I mean, this is still Patty Mahomes we're talking about with one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league. I think they're gonna figure it out. I think it's one of those things where they've been so successful. So when people see a slight little blunder, it's like everybody overreact. We're prisoners of the moment. We
That's a great
overreact,
point.
and it's like, oh my God, what's going on with Kansas City? Do they need to rebuild? Do they need to trade this? No, just relax for a second, and you have to also consider the fact that anybody that plays against them, they get their best shot every single night, because they want that team, the other team on the opposing side wants to say that we beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think once they, as a team, relax themselves a little bit, they shorten the turnovers, they'll be fine. Like, they're going to be right back in contention, so they'll be perfectly fine. And I think Josh Gordon, if, like Coach said, if he can keep this up together, I think that helps them a lot. Because Patty Mahomes he likes to air it out, so Josh Gordon is perfect for that. But yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be good.
Okay. What you think, Mike? Time to panic, or we need to be concerned?
No, it's definitely not time to panic, but it's definitely something to take notice of. I was always one of those guys. I love Patrick Mahomes. I love his game. I wish he was a Chicago Bear. I wish that would have went down the way it did, but it didn't. You know what I mean? We take Mitchell Trubisky. But what I was always saying about Patrick Mahomes is, as gifted and as talented and as intelligent as he is, I feel like we still don't know how he's truly going to play with an average to a Green Bay Packers type, Aaron Rodgers type offense. You were gifted an amazing hand, and I'm not going to discredit him for that. He's amazing. He does what he does, the no looks, the deep balls, everything. The man couldn't read a defense for the first 3 years in the NFL and still won MVP and still won a Super Bowl. He went on record and said that. So, but at the end of the day, you have Watkins, you have Kelsey, you have Tyreek, you have Andy Reid, you had a great O-line, you had Kareem Hunt, you had all these guys. And now we're starting to see, once guys start leaving, because, you get your payday and other guys want to get paid and other guys, guys get older. We're really starting to see what Patrick Mahomes is made of. And I think, for me personally, I'm not taking any discredit from him, but a lot of it was, this is the next GOAT. This is the next GOAT. This is the next GOAT. And talent-wise, I think he's definitely one of the best in the league. But I think what also makes him so great is having Hall of Famers surrounded by him all the time, and having great depth, and having 1,000 guys on the field at once who could start on 32 different teams. So now that you're starting to see Clyde Edwards, I can never say his last name, but I call him CAH. So for me, it's definitely one of those things. I'm looking at it like, you have him fumbling, you have his issues. You don't have Kareem no more. He's balling out in Cleveland. So you really have to bank on every single week, not only the play calling being great, and we know we're going to expect that from Andy Reid. We're praying for him right now that, everything's cool with him. But Tyreek has to be there, has to be healthy. Kelsey's got to still continue to be that guy. You don't have as many options to look at, like to Coach's point and Alana's. It's definitely, it's definitely becoming more of a Green Bay situation. And if Kelsey's 32, he's not going to be around, for 5+ more years at that level that he's currently on. At least we don't expect him to. So I'm interested to see how Patrick Mahomes continues to get better. I'm not discrediting him. I'm just saying, you have to continue to fire up weapons. I mean, they can afford these weapons. You can bring in guys. So I think Josh Gordon is a great addition. I wouldn't panic at all. It's still, at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes, and I trust him. Like to Coach's point, I don't get the Jones move. I think he was perfect where he was. I think he was cemented where he was. I think that's another conversation we're having, though, is guys are leaving this team, so you got to move guys around, and it's just not a perfect scenario. So you're starting to see the flaws of the Kansas City Chiefs just because they're not stacked, but that doesn't mean they're not a good franchise. It doesn't mean they're not a good team, and I definitely think if you still had to play them in February, you still give them their respect, and you still pick them to win 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I don't think it's time to panic, but I would be concerned about their defense. I think the offense is gonna figure it out. And even the fact of the matter is the 2 games they lost is 1 possession game, so it wasn't like these are games where they weren't having
whoever has the ball actually.
Yeah. So so there's no need to panic, but I would say I would have some concern about their defense. I'm just not sure how that defense is going to hold up for throughout the season. And the great thing is that they have such a prolific offense that they can put so much pressure on you offensively, and that may take some pressure off the defense. The fact that they can run out to early leads and kind of, take the pressure off the defense, that's probably what they're going to need to do. But I think that's the only thing that would concern me about the Chiefs is their defense. I'm just not sure if they have enough talent on that side of the ball to carry them going deep into the season and into the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see how they move going forward, and we'll see what happens. All right, let's cover this last topic for the NFL, and then we'll jump into a little NBA. Let's talk some Cincinnati Bengals. They're 2-1. They're playing the Jags right now, and the last time I looked, they were down 14-0, but they're off to a 2-1 start. Do you think, are they legit? Are they for real? Do you think they can win the division? Let's start with you, Alana. Are the Bengals legit? Do you think they can win the division?
Absolutely not. No, I've trusted the Bengals too many times in past history to ever trust them again. So I'm gonna say no until it happens. It's always gonna be no for me. I think with the Bengals, I think that they have potential. Maybe in a year or two, especially with Joe Burrow being back. And I'm interested to see kind of how he develops along as the season progresses. But no, I'm never gonna believe in a Bengals team ever. Like it's just not. Until they show me something, it's always gonna be no for me. So I mean, it's good for them starting off for 2-1, but I don't take them serious as of yet.
I understand, Coach. What do you think? You believe in the Bengals?
Dog. Never believed in them. Not gonna believe in them. I'm gonna be very quick on this one. They ain't gonna make it. They gone. Go ahead, Mike. That's it.
Yeah. Like, come on, man.
I'm gonna be very short on it too. Their defense is scrappy, but they don't win games because of success. They just play hard. I believe in this offense. I believe in Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon for the future. But like we said, do I really believe in Joe Mixon being a part of the future? I have no idea because, you get a new running back every 2 years. But I definitely believe, and Boyd as well, you have a great offensive unit right now, especially if Joe Burrow can continue to flourish. And I think, that's set up for success. That is a Kansas City Chiefs type team. If T. Higgins can be that, number one option on a lot of teams, and, Jamar Chase is generational, Joe Burrow stays healthy, I think you have a lot of great cats on that offense. But overall, as an organization, I will never trust them in my life. So and that's coming from me, out of all people. Matt Nagy literally went on public to try to kill Justin Fields, and he still has a job. So who am I to speak? But that's another point, though. The team you lost to was the Bears.
You got that out of your system on Monday. You still going with that, Mike?
Yeah, I'm still very upset.
Mike is hurt. Mike is hurt. We got.
I'm stay hurt. But yeah. But you lose to a team like the Bears. So when you do have to face the Browns, if we had 4 interceptions, a pick 6, and like 5 sacks against the Bengals. If that was from the Bears defense, wait till you play the Browns, bro. And I'm telling you straight up, wait till you play Myles Garrett, wait till you play Clowney, Ward, Duplett, and all those other guys. They're going to kill you. And Kareem Hunt and Chubb right now, I feel like alone could destroy that Bengals defense. So you also kicking Odell, Hooper, Baker, and all these other guys, and Landry, I don't think they're even close to being great. And that's just talking about the Browns. We have the Ravens as well.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you guys. We'll just make it unanimous. You can't believe in the Bengals. We got 20 years of evidence to maybe 40 years of evidence to tell us that there's no reason to ever believe in the Browns of being a contender, especially not this year. Like you said, you got 2 teams in that division. That's probably 3 teams. I might even put Pittsburgh over them, to be honest with you.
I would just because of experience.
Yeah, exactly. And just off of culture and history. That you would put ahead of Cincinnati.
Absolutely.
It's good to see them off to a good start, but there's no way they're not going to be able to sustain that. So we'll just leave it at that. All right, let's move into let's talk some NBA. The hot topic right now is Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons we got a situation in Philly. Ben Simmons has said that he wants out. He wants no part of the team moving forward. So if you are the Sixers, if you're Doc Rivers, if you're Daryl Morey, if you're the Sixers front office, what do you do right now? Are you going to try to work it out and see if you can get him back, or are you gonna tell him to stay home, don't even bother, and we'll move you to another team? Mike, I'm going to you. What do you do if you're the Phillies right now? I mean, if you're the Sixers right now, are you trading Ben Simmons? Or are you trying to make amends with him? What are you doing?
Forget him. Screw him. I'm done. Like, you try to fly out there, you try to have these conversations, and you tell us not to come. You tell us that you don't want to come. For what though? Like, here's my thing, and I think everybody can agree with me. James Harden deserved to act the way he acted when things ended in Houston because, Coach, hear me out, because of how things went throughout the history of Houston. You didn't really build around James. You didn't really give him those opportunities other than CP3 and a couple other times. But it's just a poorly ran franchise. He was there for a very long time. And my point is this, and you guys don't agree with me, James gave everything. James gave you MVPs. James gave you the stats. James gave you everything. What has Ben given to Philadelphia? What does Ben have to say? Well, you didn't build anything around me. Bro, we gave you Doc Rivers. We gave you Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, Al Horford, Joel Embiid, JJ Redick, and others for that 2019-2018 run. So for me, you not wanting to develop is why you're upset with me. That because I'm upset that you won't shoot the basketball. Coach, you can make any face you want. Bro, you haven't done anything to be upset.
Hey, I'm going to say this.
Come on,
I'm sorry. Hey,
Coach, go ahead. I'm going to let you cook. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm going to cut you off for a minute.
Nah, go ahead.
This is guys honest truth. Ben Simmons pretty much gave the same thing that James Harden gave when the game was on the line.
Come on, Coach.
I ain't gonna say that.
Come on, Coach. That's
I don't know if I agree with that one. I don't know if I agree with that.
Hold on. Time out. So when game 7, they shot 35 and missed 35 threes.
Was Chris Paul hurt or no?
It doesn't matter. He missed 35. They shot 35.
Yeah, but he actually shot the ball. He wanted to shoot the ball.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is James actually tried? He was going out there doing stuff.
See, Mike, you're wrong, but you're right. And this is why. Because the thing with James Harden in Houston is that every person that James asked for, they got. So it was never a situation of they didn't surround him with it. It was they surrounded him with exactly what he wanted. But when it didn't work, it became the other person's fault, and they traded that person.
Right.
Like Chris Paul
got a bad example. Like all those, a bad example.
Yeah. So like I said, you're wrong, but you're right. Like I get what you were trying to say, but at the same time, I think with this particular situation is, you gotta trade Ben Simmons because it's uncomfortable now. It's uncomfortable for both sides.
Did you guys hear what Joel said?
Yeah, because again, I think that's the connection you should have made between James and Ben Simmons. Is like how Joel Embiid said, we pretty much predicated everything around you. We put the offense around you. Everything that you wanted, we gave you. Like everything, what our team was constructed as an offense was predicated off what you do well. So now that you're saying that because you're getting criticism, it's our fault, and you want to leave us, like that's the connection there, because it was the same thing with James Harden. Everything you wanted, we gave you. But then when it didn't work, now it's everybody else's fault but your own. And it's like, but you didn't bring, what did you bring? You didn't bring your part to the table. So it's like, but they got to get rid of him. They have to get rid of him because it's gonna get uglier, and he's gonna take more and more criticism. And I just hope that wherever he goes next, he's gonna be ready and prepared to shoot the ball, because everybody's going to be on it. That's going to be a thing now. Like they're going to play on that mental psyche because they know that that's a weakness for him. So.
And that was the point I was really trying to make was what has the 76ers, and Coach, I kind of want to throw it to you because we know how Lana feels. We know how Kenny's going to feel, in a minute he's going to give his part. But for you, what has the Philadelphia 76ers really done to upset Ben? Asked you to be better? Asked you to be that number 1 draft pick, asked you to be that guy that you are in practice, that you shoot all of these threes and you're hitting these threes in practice. We give you all these pieces. You ask for Jimmy Butler to not be re-signed. Like that was one of the biggest things to me because you didn't like the mental toughness that he brought, and he tried to push you to be great. I'm gonna be straight up honest and say it's gonna go down like this. if Ben Simmons stepped up and actually played the game of basketball from an offensive perspective the way he should, they would have won an NBA championship that season. I feel like they would have beat Toronto. Ben Simmons did nothing that entire series.
But go ahead.
Not a single thing. I think with Golden State being injured and the things that happened with KD, if those things still happen, I still see them beating them. You know what I mean? If KD's healthy and Klay's healthy, that's a different conversation. But you know, if those injuries happen and you play that Warriors team, we're talking about champs right now, and we're not even having this argument. But you don't want to develop. You don't want to be better. You're just comfortable where you're at, and that's not the way this league is going. And you got guys like Luka, Curry, all these guys cooking every offseason trying to be better. You got to be that guy. So what, to me, Coach, what has the 76ers done to even have Ben want to be upset?
That's a great question.
Man, to be honest with you, I really don't know. Like I said, I don't, because if you think about it, you didn't hear this coming out of LSU that he couldn't shoot. You didn't hear about this. It just happened out of nowhere. But he was not the only one. I can't even think of other boy they had drafted in the first round.
Markelle
Fultz. He couldn't shoot.
Markelle Fultz. Yeah, Fultz.
Yeah, like all of a sudden he couldn't shoot all of a sudden. So
he had something weird going on with him though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like a lot of them all of a sudden I don't get why they just can't shoot. So it's kind of, he doesn't have to me. And when you look at Ben, he don't have to really be a shooter. He could be a point guard. He can distribute. He can play defense. Just make your free throw. But again, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what Ben's thinking. He's young, and everybody blamed him. Like it was his fault that they lost because he didn't shoot the ball. So if he shot the ball and he missed, I mean, it still be the same outcome. They still gonna blame you. You shouldn't have shoot it. You should pass it. So I just think
it's the willingness of not wanting to shoot is the problem, though.
Right.
That's the issue. It's just that it's the timidness of not wanting to shoot is the issue. Because if I'm 6'11" and I got Trae Young on me, there's no reason I shouldn't try to dunk or lay the ball up. None. Absolutely. Like there's no reason to pass that out.
Yeah, that's the play right there. Yeah.
But
that's the one.
But if you sit there, you go back on it and you look, you go 2 years, and I'm just playing devil's advocate. Because if you go 2 years, they say, hey, you can't shoot, hey, you suck, hey, you can't shoot, hey, you can't shoot, and then all of a sudden he shoots, you like, what is this? You know what I mean? So he heard it for 2 years, complaining about his shooting. So I kind of understand why he wants to probably go somewhere else and feel more comfortable. But again, man, he's young. What, he's like 25, 24?
Yeah, he's really young. Yeah,
he's 24, 25. They blamed him for the last 2 years of not going to the finals because he's not shooting the ball.
Right. See, but that's the thing.
But you got to develop that. That's not an excuse. Right. You got to develop that.
Exactly. You can miss these shots.
But my thing is this,
not taking them.
What was that when he was at LSU? Where was that when he came in the league?
Yeah, I think
he couldn't shoot at LSU either. Though. You watched him at LSU.
Yeah, he wasn't really. Yeah, he always was a driver. He's always been a driver.
And that's what I'm saying. And if you take Rondo, he's a driver.
But the difference with Rondo is that he wasn't afraid to take the big shot in the big moment. Like he would take the shot. He would be the penetrating distributor and things of that nature. But when it came time in the fourth quarter, he wasn't afraid to take the big shot, in a clutch moment. So I think the problem with Ben is, and if I'm Philly, here's the problem that Philly has is that if you're trading him, you're getting 50 cents on the dollar. Like his trade value is pretty much at an all-time low now.
Yeah,
so if I'm him, like I'm trying to get him back and get him on the court. I may not necessarily, it may not, and I would tell him, look, like I'm gonna be straight up with you, like, look, bro, your trade value, like I could trade you to Sacramento if you want to, but if you want to go to a team, you know what I'm saying? Like you want to go to a team where you got a chance to contribute and be on a contending team, like you're gonna have to show on the court that you have confidence in your shot. Because to me, this is what the problem with Ben is, he doesn't have confidence in his shot. I think this is and you talked about it with Fultz. It's mental with him. Because you watch the clips of him, working out and he's pulling up and he's shooting these shots and he looks comfortable out there on the court. I think it's a confidence and I think it's a mental thing. And so this is a mental
Mm-hmm.
hurdle that he has to get over. And I'll go back, and you guys, some of y'all probably too young, but you can go back to Magic Johnson. When Magic Johnson first came in the league, he couldn't shoot. Like they call him Tragic Johnson.
LeBron James too. LeBron James.
Look at Kobe.
You
LeBron
talk
James
about Rondo struggled with a shot, but it's something that you work on in the gym, and I think it's a confidence thing, and it's a mental hurdle that he has to get over. So I think that the Sixers are in a really tough spot, and you talked about it, Mike. Embiid didn't help. I think that's the nail in the coffin. What Embiid said, I think, is the nail in the coffin. I don't think
but you know, it goes back even further than what Embiid recently said. If you paid attention to when they had the playoff exit last year, when Embiid and Doc both didn't really come to his defense, it started then.
Yes,
that was the beginning. I mean, it was the beginning. That was the beginning of the end to me, because Doc more so. Doc is normally a guy that would defend his players. Like as a coach, like he's a player's coach.
Right.
So
I never saw him do anything.
Yeah, and you've never saw him like throw anybody under the bus or he's usually the one that's like, I should have made coaching adjustments. I'm the one that didn't. Like he usually puts the onus on himself. So the moment he was like, actually, well, if you look at this, and then Embiid saying, well, we had a chance. He didn't mention Ben by name. And he was like, but we had a chance where the play where we got the ball in the basket and we didn't take the shot, and it ended up being a turnover.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I'm not going. That's just like if you're working a job and you go fill out some applications at other jobs and you tell everybody at the office you leaving, then you don't get the new job and you come back. It's like they're gonna be looking at you like, we know you don't want to be here. Like, so what's the point? So like you alluded to, Kenny, that he's really put the Sixers in a really, really tough spot. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I live in Sacramento. They don't want him here either.
And I heard a little rumor that he has to trade to Chicago. We're not folding, bro.
Yeah,
we're good.
He can't. The thing with Ben, he can't go to a market where there's expectations.
I'll say it straight up.
That's why I said that's why Sacramento's a perfect.
Sacramento would work perfectly, but it's like we got a bunch of Ben Simmons already. Like we don't need any more Ben Simmons.
But that was my point, and Alana said it too. Like, not to get too off topic, Derrick Rose from Inglewood won an MVP, was the people's champ, and the media still ate him alive. Ben, if you think he had it bad, wait till you get here.
And he was injured. Derrick Rose was injured.
Right.
That's
he had an
difference.
excuse. Like it was like, all right, well, he's actually out. But for me, I think the best situation, we're not getting into that too much if you guys don't want to, but I still think Houston. You have Kevin Porter Jr., you have Jalen Suggs, you have Christian Wood, you have young cats. Nah, I like Houston, bro.
Nah, he can't come down.
You know what? And I'll throw this out for just to be devil's advocate myself. I think Boston would be interesting for him, because then if you go to Boston, you can be a traditional point guard there. You don't have to be, because you got. You have two elite scorers on either. You got two closers on either side. You got to. You know what I'm saying? You got to like he can be what he can play to his strengths. They won't expect him to shoot, because we don't need another shooter. They need somebody who can run an offense.
That is true. That's a great point.
So
I think that's why a lot of people were saying Golden State. Hey, you be another Draymond Green. Hey,
a younger version.
Hey, you be a Jalen. Hey, look.
But even Draymond ain't scared to shoot the ball. Draymond ain't scared to shoot it though.
Girl, you see Draymond look left, look right. Ain't nobody on me. Hey, he said, "Come on, Curry, hurry up, get around."
You ain't open. I gotta shoot this.
I gotta shoot it.
Draymond wouldn't even pass it to KD. He wouldn't even pass it to KD. Like what? Like Draymond don't care about not shooting.
Draymond don't play, bro.
What?
Yeah.
I like Boston a lot. I think Boston's interesting.
Yeah, those are two.
Boston would be interesting.
But for me, at the end of the day, Alana, we got Jason Tatum. He ain't no scrub with a work ethic.
No.
He has got that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Ben's got to show up if he's really going to a contender. That's why I say Houston, because Houston's a place. Houston don't care if you show out right now. If he's trying to go to a contender, you gotta.
Coach, no, but I think
don't think with your heart, Coach. Don't think with your heart, Coach.
I'm not. No, first of all, hold on. I'm not even a Houston fan, but I'm gonna tell you this.
You in the area, so you go defend.
Let me explain this to you. They are, when it comes to like these sports, they're die hard to the, just like everywhere you go.
No, the fans, yeah.
Even,
I'm talking about that team.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, they want to win.
The team ain't in a place where they're gonna be like, Ben, we need you to do this right now. You got time to kind of work that out and figure that out.
See,
You're not paying him the money that you're paying him not to make the playoffs to make some noise.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta realize, man, they still off that James Harden.
Yeah.
Like we're used to.
Oh, you know that hurt.
They consistently going. They consistently going to playoffs, making the NBA, to at least the Western Conference Finals. And now you put Ben out here and he don't want to shoot. Dog, they will talk. They will roast him.
Yeah, they gonna eat him alive. Yeah,
they gonna eat him because. You're talking about just everybody here local. Now, bigger stage, he get looked over because it's Houston.
Right.
But living here, he could be driving. He could be walking down the street. They say, "Man, shoot the ball." Like they say, say, cuz, shoot it. like for Ben,
they even show how to. They be like, "Hey, come on, man."
Yeah. So like for Ben has to go somewhere where he is not the dog. Like that's why you say Boston, we say Golden State because you're not supposed to do these things.
Right.
Like when you look because he's at 76ers, it's him and OB, they're here. Like y'all first round draft picks, y'all got he got hurt the first year, you got hurt the first year. So y'all like here. Like so the expectation is for us to get us over the hump. But when you just the lone wolf.
Yeah, different.
People won't, you need to show that money. But I agree with you. If he goes to somewhere where he's not number one, or he's number two, or if it's 1A, 1B, and you have
I think he got to be 3. I don't even think he needs.
He has to be 3. He has to be 3.
He has to have people that he can pass.
But it depends.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on where you're at or what star you with. Because if you say take Golden State, say Clay's. I hope he's healthy. Clay's hurt. Him number 2. Steph Curry is he's so strong to be up. You take even LeBron, you take KD, like their style is so above, like their popularity is so high that it's not his fault.
Right. See, my point I was trying to make to you was, you got to have that work ethic like these guys, because let's say, for example, Clay is either on a rocky start or gets injured again. Something happens to Curry, he gets injured again. Ben, without knowing going into signing with this team or getting traded to this team, has to step up and be that guy. If you don't have that work ethic, Clay's gonna notice that. Curry's gonna notice that. So you got to be able to be that guy to be on a contending team.
But if you really think about it, what was the real knock on 76ers? They don't work.
Yeah,
he was always
that's my point though. Yeah. If you're moving, you got to understand what you have to change to go to that new place.
I think
can't be a rookie 2 times in
I agree with you. I agree with you. But Mike, if me and you was together, hey, I'm gonna be like this. Well, in this case, you down there. I'm like, come on, look, stay under my wing. Hey, let's go let's go lift. Hey, let's go shoot. You treat like your girlfriend.
Right.
Hey, if you look at your girlfriend, you're like, oh, she kind of big, baby. Let's go walk. Tag. Let's go race.
You gotta be real careful.
Oh yeah, no, that's real.
So you might get kind of smooth, but that is real. But that is real.
You have to with Ben. His issue is to shoot. So if he has a guy, a top dog, he can play. The top dog is gonna play bang. Because LeBron is not going to blame him.
Right.
At the press conference, LeBron said, hey, we got to
They'll trade him, though.
Oh, no, he'll trade him. He absolutely trade him.
LeBron would have flipped his.
And I think he just quit. But you got to look at it also. You take LeBron. LeBron never knew how to win a championship till he went where? He went with Miami with D-Wade, and he had Pat Riley and all them. He had to learn. So he had to learn how to change his whole mindset.
That's the conversation, being willing to learn. And I get your point. I get your
every
point
champion
has
to be willing to learn. Yes,
right. I get Curry going out there and Curry being like, "Hey, let's go shoot." You don't think JJ Redick did that? You don't think all these other guys on this offense say, "Hey, Ben, let's go do this"?
It's a different.
But JJ's not a champion. JJ's not a champion either.
I feel what you're saying, but at the end of the day, like. That not only was this guy shooting in practice, that's not the problem.
Mike,
he can shoot.
Mike, can I ask you a question?
Doesn't.
Can I ask you a question? right now, if we were playing pickup basketball,
JJ Redick. No, I'm playing.
are you gonna pick JJ or are you gonna pick up Simmons?
Ben Simmons or JJ?
Yes.
We're playing 1-on-1.
No, you playing basketball, just pick up 5-on-5.
Bro, give me JJ Bob. Pass that rock to him every
Come
day.
on,
Nah,
man.
I'm playing with you. I'm playing. I pick Ben.
But you see what I'm saying? Like when you say JJ, he's gonna look like, man, in a way, man, you kind of beneath me.
But what I'm trying to say is you're looking at
that's what I'm
It's
saying.
a different level of respect. That was my point.
I think that was kind of the problem that he probably had with Jimmy Butler too, because granted, Jimmy Butler is a great player and he does a lot.
But he does
a lot of great, and he's gonna push. But coming from him to Ben Simmons, that message is gonna get lost because it's like, you know what I'm saying. He's not used to that because outside of Jimmy Butler, there are a bunch of young guys. Who were privileged, coming from privilege.
Oh, you know, he's from Texas, boy.
They were privileged. They were coming from, AAU and being the top, whatever in whatever conference or whatever, college that they came from. So they were coming from just real, people kind of catering to them, and they weren't used to that. Jimmy had to get it out the mud. They did not. So it was a bit different between.
I say Joel made it out the mud though.
He hasn't been known to have a great work ethic. So he wasn't going to be the guy that was going to push it. We don't know if he's going to be the guy.
Joel made it.
That's exactly. And Joel's not really a guy that can pull that out of you. Like nobody. We don't take him serious in that regard. Like we know Joel can play, but he ain't a dog like that where he's gonna pull you to the side and be like, you need to do this, or we gonna go to do this because we got to get back. That's not Joel Embiid. Like that's not his. That's not his persona, so that's why I think it's not. Ben Simmons has to get around people that are around his age and that have a crazy work ethic, and they can kind of motivate him by action and not by words. Because as we see, he's sensitive. Like words bother him. Words bother him. So it's like
you gotta realize. But that's the new age, though. I don't know how.
Not all of them, no. Not all of them, no.
But the ones, if you think about it, the ones like Ben Simmons went to LSU. Man, he was treated like a king.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was catered to. Hey, he was treated like a king. So he really never had that dog in him, that dog mentality. I have to go fight and go get it. Mm-hmm. I'm saying, I think if he goes somewhere where he's not one, that someone or coach that'll say, hey, that's gonna back him, boost his ego and everything else, and also teach him how to work, then we're good.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. He can't be the main guy. That's a problem of, I think, us as fans and as media, is that we all think just because if a guy shows promise, we all think they're supposed to be the number one guy. And that's not true. Not everybody is meant to be a number one guy. There's there's roles on teams for a reason. There's 1 through 5. or 1 through 10. I mean, or how many people are constructed on the NBA team, but everybody plays a specific role. Everybody can't be Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Or be in that conversation. So I feel like if he accepts that and he understands that I need to be a third option, it would be a lot smoother for him.
Yeah, if they didn't resign, that's my last thing because I know we gotta go to the next time. Yeah. Just take if the Phoenix Suns didn't re-sign Chris Paul, he will work wonders in Phoenix. Mm-hmm. He will work wonders in Phoenix because he has guys that let that thing ring, and that's the thing. He doesn't have a mentor. He didn't have a mentor in 76. There wasn't a coach nor a player that he could just, because somebody has to take the bullets.
Right.
Yeah. If you take the 76ers, it was Ben. Years before it was the coach. Coach left. They was like, oh, it's gotta be. It got to be. It's you, Ben. So if I was him, man, I wouldn't step foot in it, man. I'm like, hey, y'all don't want to trade me? I'm rich, bitch. So we go.
no facts.
James,
hey. It's like, hey, I mean, that's just how. That's how.
No cap though.
Because
that's
he took the blame. He takes the blame for everything. You lose because of you, because you didn't shoot the ball.
Right, but
So
at the same time,
but
though,
he gotta
doesn't
be
Bron-
self-aware though, because that's. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Doesn't Bron though? Doesn't Luka at the end of the day? Don't all these guys take the blame? And that's
I was
that
gonna
role
say that's par for
you're
the
supposed
course,
to
man.
be.
That's what you
Yeah,
sign up
that's part.
for.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
and
That
then
is.
this
When
is
you're one of the
But you
guys,
gotta
you
look.
got to take those hits.
But you gotta look what you compare to. You take LeBron at age 18, man. He was on ESPN magazine and on TV. He was already the chosen one.
Don't think
I would say
Ben
he
was.
was.
Don't think Ben
When he
was.
went to
He
Cleveland,
wasn't like Brown though. It
He
wasn't like
wasn't
when he
like Brown, but I mean,
Hey, when
add the
Brown was
fan
in
base.
Cleveland, he was. Dog, you go back and look at how they talked about him.
Oh, it was
Like
crazy.
the players on the
Yeah.
team. And I said, you gotta stand
Carlos
Luka.
Boozer.
Yeah. And you gotta look at Luka. Luka was playing with grown men
Right.
at 15, 16
But
years old.
that's my point, though. It's a grown man's league. And
It is.
Ben, I just don't think
Yeah,
he's mentally a grown man.
But-
He's a kid still.
Yeah.
But when you're 6'11" in Louisiana and you dominating,
Exactly. And then
And you can
and then
dunk the ball, and
when
they
you're
ain't
a
had no
rookie,
really,
Ben got everything handed to him at LSU, and then
And he was
goes
only
up.
there for 1 year, so
Right.
it wasn't even like
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
even there
Yeah.
that long.
So and then you
Yeah,
go into your
yeah.
rookie year and you don't play, but then Ben goes, I still want to be rookie of the year. So in year 2, you get to be rookie of the year. Oh, here, Ben, you can have rookie of the year. Here, Ben, you can have this. Here, we'll give you everything. Ben kind of got everything handed to him. So once you started to kind of criticizing him and saying, Ben, you're not being
That's a
enough,
great
he's
point.
not used to that. So
that is a great point. That's a very good point.
that is, and I agree 100% with you. And I think, but it goes back to you gotta have a mentor. Like you gotta have somebody.
Right.
You take what we're doing right now on this podcast. We still gotta have like a mentor or someone's guiding.
Can
You
I
gotta
ask,
have
though-
somebody that can
Can I
check
ask
you.
though, who
Yes.
was Bron's mentor?
You said who was Bronze?
Yeah, early days Cleveland. Who was Bron's mentor on that?
Bron?
I think when you say, like I said, when you say
Exactly.
LeBron,
Like they even were hating on him.
but it's a difference though. I think for Bron, it was his mentor, his drive was his mom. Because at the very beginning of his career, he was at everything.
And he had a kid at 18 too, so that
That's
also
why
plays
he
a factor.
struggled early though, also in Cleveland too, because he didn't know how to lead. That's why he needed to go down to Miami and get with
which
a
I mean, he was
to
but
learn
he was,
how to,
Right, he
learn
needed to
be
learn
that
how to
leader
lead, but
and
he was
learn how to
taking
get
shots.
that.
he was still Oh no,
He
for
was
sure.
trying to
He
develop.
for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was
But
exactly
Mike-
what I was gonna say, Mike.
But Mike, if Ben took the shots and he missed,
He's attempting.
and listen,
Yeah, I don't
It's
think
the-
they
it's-
would
yeah,
kill
it's-
him as
it's
much.
No,
I don't
yes,
think
because
they
the
would kill him
problem
as
is
much.
the problem
can't
is
That's
this,
one thing, being able to not shoot. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like,
no, you fine.
bro, you can shoot. Like I've seen you shoot in practice. We've seen it shoot. We've seen in the training camp videos. We've seen
It's
it
the
preseason.
refusal. That's the issue.
That's
Right.
it.
It's the
Yes,
fact that you
yes,
don't
that's the
want to
refusal.
But it's like that. Here's the thing. And
Where is it like that?
because when you're in practice, it's a perfect example. A lot of players when they're in practice, you catch, you do this, boom.
Practice
You do that.
world.
But guess what? Here I think a lot of his issue is now you're in front of millions of people watching you. Your adrenaline is pumping. Now your form is not the same because you don't practice playing full speed.
That's
with
it.
him.
Well, you got to
What's
practice
the
playing full
difference?
speed.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. You practice
practice
play.
But secondly, but the thing about it is, and I'm not again. I don't know what happened to it. Ben is Ben, and I'm not agreeing what he's doing or none of that. I'm just saying I think with Ben, he's one of those guys, and I guess this is my coach looking like, hey, I have to boost his ego, make him feel comfortable to get the best out of him. Like I can't yell out, shoot the ball. I might have to say, hey, let's play a game and let's shoot. You know, you got to play.
Yeah, you got. But at the same,
Right, but
I think what you're saying is you got to build up his confidence. You got to build up his mental.
Yeah.
But also
you're
at the
a grown
same
man.
time, you got to challenge him too. And I think the
Yeah,
other point
yeah.
that you guys made that was really important is that I think it was too much too soon for him. He's never really had to deal with any adversity. This is the first time he's really had to deal with any adversity in his career.
Right.
I think that, because he hasn't had to deal with any adversity, he didn't know how to respond to it. And so I think this is what we're seeing from him. and that's why he's struggling, and that's why he's feeling the way he's feeling, and why he wants to get out of Philly. But I'm going to say this, and then we're going to move on to the next topic. I think that the Houston thing is not a bad thing because John Wall wants to be out, and if you
John Wall's out, they released him.
Oh, they released him?
Yeah, no, he's not with Houston. No, he's not with Houston anymore.
No, they got to buy him out. And unless they got to buy him out, else they're going to eat all of that money.
I think.
Yeah,
Hold on,
but I was going to say that if that was
he's still there.
Yeah, if it's a 50,
okay.
With his value being with Ben Simmons' value being where it is, I think a swap for him and John Wall. That would probably be a interesting trade that could happen for Philly because, like I said, where his value is right now, it's going to be hard for them to get a deal or get anything of equal value for him. So it's going to be interesting to see how this thing is going to play out. But let's move on. We beat that topic to death.
Because I'm tired of that.
Yeah, let's talk about Boston. We touched on them a little bit. What do you think Boston needs to do to reassert themselves at the top of the Eastern Conference? You know, they made a couple of moves in the offseason. They brought back Al Horford. They brought in Dennis Schroeder to replace Kemba Walker. Do you think those are enough moves for them to get back to the top of the Eastern Conference? Or do they still need to do some more? Lana, what do you think?
I think, and this is probably why I threw the Ben Simmons thing out there. I think that they still need a traditional point guard because they already have two dogs on both sides that can score the ball, and they have a pretty good bench, a decent enough bench that can keep up when the starters are off the floor. And I mean we've seen what Dennis Schroeder did when the lights were the brightest when he was with the Lakers, and it wasn't great. So I don't think that that's enough. So I think you have to find something else there to kind of push them to the top of the Eastern Conference. And like I said, to me, what they're missing is a point guard. They have everything else works perfectly for them, and they can contend. It's just they don't have a true point guard. Kemba didn't really make sense because he's Jason Tatum in a point guard's body. Like that's what he thinks in his mind, at least. So that was his whole motive going as far as going to Boston. But I just think that they needed a traditional point guard, and maybe like another good 3-and-D guy. And I think that they'll be right. They'll be right where they need to be as far as the top of the Eastern Conference, because it's the Eastern Conference at the end of the day. So they don't have to work too hard to get to the top of that. Because it's Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and everybody else. Let's you know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it all the way honest. But so yeah,
don't forget about my boys.
Oh yeah, Miami. Okay, I forgot about Miami. I'm sorry. So it's them three, and then if they can get those two things, I think they would be the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference.
Okay, Mike, you got that Celtics jersey on right now.
It's a little slice baseball jersey. Ain't no bandwagoning over here. We Bulls all day, but and Butler and Rose, we always rocking with them. But I do love me some Tatum. I kind of want to get the back of a Tatum. Just stir it up a little bit around the neighborhood. But I think a big thing for me, people forget about the dude, man. Aaron Nesmith. Aaron Nesmith is a dog and an absolute beast. And if he can continue to be that guy and be that bench role piece, be that leader on the bench, I felt like that's what they really lacked during those Bron days when they were playing him in the conference finals. Once Tatum went out, it was Bron. It was Bron going after him, and Bron was playing in those minutes, and Bron did what he did. And that's the reason why they didn't go to the finals. I mean, there's many reasons they didn't go, mainly because of Bron. But it was definitely one of those situations where I looked at it like if you guys had a little bit of a deeper bench and a better point guard position, you're really in a good spot. Aaron Nesmith is one of those guys, I just wanted to touch on. This guy can shoot the ball. This guy is lights out. Like, I don't know if he'll make the starting rotation at any point throughout the year, but if you give this kid the opportunities with a Jason Tatum, a Dennis Schroeder, who is so disrespected in this league. I understand what happened with the Lakers. I understand what happened, how he fumbled the bag. And by the way, if Freddie's listening, you're lucky he didn't accept that bag. Because there would be
as a LeBron fan, we absolutely are. I'll speak for Freddie. We are for surely lucky he didn't accept that. And I'm glad he didn't.
What was offered was ridiculous. But here's my big thing. people forget
Insane.
about what happened in OKC with Dennis. And the biggest thing was Dennis just got to be Dennis.
Atlanta, he was getting in Atlanta too.
Exactly. And he didn't have to be that guy you had to count on to shoot the ball. Here you have Jaylen Brown emerging himself as a top 20 player. You have Jason Tatum establishing himself as potentially a top 5, top 10 player. So in future years. So it's definitely a Marcus Smart. You know, you have other guys. Al Horford's back. Dennis can be Dennis. Dennis doesn't have to be that guy when AD goes down that Bron has to rely on. And not that Bron shouldn't have gotten to rely on him. He definitely should have. You know, you're in that role. You're in this organization. You got to be that guy at the end of the day. I'll give Bron that. You should have expected more from Dennis, and he should have stepped up. But just like the conversation with Ben, it's just really not in his game to be that guy, to step up in those big moments. And the biggest thing for me, you know, I don't think Dennis felt comfortable taking those big shots. Here's what doesn't sit with me. It's the same thing with Ben that Coach said on. We're not going to talk about Ben, but for both of them, I don't understand. You know, millions of fans are watching me. The rest of your game is perfect. So what's the difference between what you're doing right now in front of these people versus shooting a 3 or shooting the ball or being that guy? There is no difference other than the fact that you just can't handle those last second moments. You have a guy in Tatum that can handle those moments. You have Brown who can handle it. So I think it's definitely going to be a good season for the Celtics if they remain healthy. I don't know if Tristan Thompson's still there. I didn't follow.
He's a sack.
He don't
really
make
follow.
much of a difference though.
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. You know, I know Taco Fall is no longer there. I'm very upset about that one. But you know, they have a decent bench, and I really
no.
Coach, who do you think do the Celtics have enough to be a contender in the East Conference, or need do some more work?
To be honest with you, I kind of want to see. I want to see what the head coach do, because if you really look at that team, one of the things about it that even if you look at pretty much all teams except last year, they had some leader that's been in the championship or just won the championship. And one thing about Boston, they didn't have a leader. Like Brad Stevens was good, but he couldn't really tell stories or hype him up or get him ready or have him prepared for that, because he was learning himself. So it's really with him, like I said, I can't even pronounce his name. God dog.
Ime Udoka.
Yeah, that dude right there. Neil Long's cousin. That's all I can tell you.
Right. That's what he's doing. Right.
That's all I can tell you.
There you go.
Hey, but since he's been with the Spurs, so like he has that pop. He's with the Raptors. He was with Brooklyn. So he's been around where he kind of understands how to control stars, what he needs to push buttons. I think that's the most important thing, because like you said, every last one of you said, they got guys that can hoop. You got guys that can play, but you don't have a guy that won a championship or can tell them or say, hey, I remember this with Ginobili. I remember this with Tim Duncan in this situation. Like you can tell them, like, hey, work on this about your game. This is what Tim Duncan, or you can have just Tim Duncan come up or Ginobili come and talk. You know what I'm saying? You could have those things to make them want to be better. So to me, that's the biggest, most important piece right then and there is, hey, can I get you there? Because like you said, man, you look at New Jersey, man, James Harden's, I don't care what y'all say, he chokes in the big games. Kyrie, we don't know.
I agree.
It's a fair point.
You don't know Kyrie's situation.
Kyrie don't know Kyrie's situation.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hey, Philly.
Hey, y'all can relax
Philly.
on Kyrie.
Hey, Philly just they got all kinds of issues. So it's like really the only two teams. I mean, Milwaukee, but they lost. They lost they lost that dog, and he went to Miami. So now,
PJ,
your other Texas boy.
There you go. So
drunk as a skunk in that parade.
Hey, so that's what I'm saying. But so now, if you really look at it, Miami to me is the favorite just because of just
in the
history.
East.
Talk to him, coach.
A favorite?
Over Brooklyn and Milwaukee.
I would say they're a sleeper team, but a favorite.
Right, I don't know about favorite.
Hold on. Let's rewind it. And let's really talk about it. Let's take KD. He didn't win no championship without Steph. Last time I checked, he choked. when he had
No, he
Harden.
did. He did.
And we also
He
said
did.
Harden. And we
He
look.
did.
And then what Kyrie? No, this like Kyrie's a great basketball player, but there's two things we don't know. We don't know if he's gonna show up, and then we don't know if he do show up, is he gonna be walking? Is he gonna be hurt? What are the two?
He also didn't win without Bron.
Huh?
He hasn't won a championship without Bron.
Thank you. So those are the things that you got. It's a difference. Like same with KD. There's a difference when you got Draymond Green.
The Miami team was one guy, Kyle Lowry.
They brought back,
and he ain't won. He wouldn't have won a championship if it wasn't for Kawhi.
But Duncan was trash. Hopefully Duncan can play better this year.
I think Duncan was in a weird situation.
But the thing about it is, here's why I say Miami, because who do you still have? You have Eric Spoelstra. You have Pat Riley. And one thing about it is, I kind of give them a leeway from last year anyway, just for the simple fact of the matter, they had a 2 months rest and they had to come back. So everybody was pretty much hurt.
No, they just played over their heads last year. And
Mr. Moore, I'm not going to just go back and forth with it. But all I can say is, hey, and you can ask Mike, I'm going to stick with it. And it's not a debate.
That's your pick and your opinion.
I mean, guess what, Mike?
I would love to revisit this in about seven.
We definitely have to revisit.
Listen to me. In 8 months, I'm gonna come on the show and be like this. What'd you say?
Exactly.
And if you're right, you got every right to do that.
And you know what?
If you're right, I'll give you that. But if you're
and
wrong,
guess what? And I'm gonna tell you, listen. And I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play that old school. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. I'm just telling you.
Because it's a bunch of Texas boys over there. You just
that's all.
We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that.
But it's not a homer. But if you look at NBA. Don't look at don't take the last 2 years out. Who is consistently winning? What are the teams?
Golden
State, who had a head coach that won championships that was with Jordan.
Right.
So you can tell those stories. And he even wrote a book because he went.
Thanks to Mark Jackson,
and I agree with you.
Right.
You take LeBron James, who went to Miami and won. Like the only exception to the rule was the Dallas Mavericks. Like it's a consistent. Then after that, what do you have? The Spurs,
Raptors,
and
you had the Raptors.
Then goes to Cleveland that one.
Right.
Cleveland in 2016.
Kawhi was there, and he was with
right.
Him.
Kawhi was with the Spurs, but I truly do doubt Kawhi said anything.
I get your point.
No,
I get your point that you need that championship.
Kawhi definitely didn't say a word.
Facts, Mike.
Yeah, you need that championship pedigree, that championship experience as part of your either in your coaching staff or on your. I get your point on your roster, but in terms of the Celtics, I think they still need I think they're like a front court piece away. Like they really, and this has been an issue for them for the last couple of years. Is they don't really get much scoring in the front court. They don't really have somebody that they could dump it down to if they need to get a bucket in the front court. Robert Williams, he's starting to come along, but I think he still has a little ways to go. But I think that's what they're missing is and I think that's why they brought Horford back to see if he can kind of give them some scoring punch in that front court because they already got the wing scoring in terms of between James.
Yeah, they got that
Jaylen Brown
and that's one of the things why I asked. Let me see what kind of offense he's trying to do. What is he trying to do with them? Because, like I said, because he was in that Spurs, he played with them when they won.
Yeah.
And then he was on the staff when they won. So he's gonna probably take a little bit of that from Tim Duncan and how they ran out.
Right. And I also
Brad Stevens wasn't like that. Brad Stevens, he's a guard heavy guy. That was his when he was in college, what he coached.
Yeah, Butler.
Right. And I also look at it as Marcus Smart reminds me, and not his game or what he brings to the table, but how they use him is kind of like a Patrick Beverly, where he's nice to have, but it's not that he's an issue. But when it comes down to the finals, guys like Marcus Smart, guys like Patrick Beverly, they really don't show up in that way that you need them. They're great for what they do. They're very intense. They work hard. They do what they do. But at the end of the day, for a championship type roster, if Marcus Smart's one of your starting players, you kind of have an issue.
Yeah, that's going to be the challenge for them. And it's like Alana said, in terms of that point guard position, that's going to be the challenge. It's going to be interesting. I like Peyton Pritchard. I like him I think he's going to have an opportunity to get some minutes this year, even with him and Dennis Schroeder. So it's going to be interesting to see how they make up for that position going forward. All right, let's wrap it up with this one. We got our segment, our world famous segment, Rank 'em. We got 3 guards, 3-point guards today that we're ranking. We're going old school.
I'm gonna upset some people today.
We got Penny Hardaway.
No.
We got Penny Hardaway, Tim Hardaway, and Mark Jackson. Rank them. Go ahead, Mike.
I don't want to go first.
Start us off.
No, Mike, you gotta go first. You put it out there, Mike. You gotta go first.
So the reason you
gotta upset them.
You get to set it off.
What was it again? Who's the two other
Penny
two?
Hardaway, Tim Hardaway, and Mark Jackson.
I'm gonna hurt some people's feelings. I'm gonna put Penny. I'm gonna look at Tim. I'm gonna respect Tim.
You're a Chicago guy too. Wow.
I'm gonna put Penny at 1, and then Tim at 2, and I'll put Mark at 3. And I put it at that. It's personal preference. It's what I like to watch. I like to watch Penny more. Tim's a dog. I'm gonna see Tim. I'm gonna respect Tim. But I'm gonna put Penny over him just because I felt like throughout his career, if it was a little bit healthier, there's a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah, I get it.
And Mark, respectfully, Mark was a dog, but respectfully, out of those two, my boy, you sitting at 3, and it's not your fault. It's a nice table to sit at. 3.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think any of us are going to not have Mark Jackson at 3.
Yeah,
it's a nice table to be at 3. Like it's cool. Like it's like being Draymond Green. That's fine. Like Curry.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I still got these titles. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like Rondo being 6th. Like that's fine. This Lakers team stacked. That's fine.
It is fine. It's great, actually.
Man, I thought you talking about you gonna upset somebody. Because if you didn't put Penny 1, I'm gonna tell you what I would tell you. You go on YouTube and you look up Little Penny. You look up all Little Penny commercials. Because I know you might not know.
Oh, I know. I was on that YouTube on the little tablet. I was watching all that stuff, bro.
Hey, you go look up Little Penny, and you might have loved it because he had a girl with Michael Jordan. So you look that up. Man, you got to go Penny 1. You can go either way. In my opinion, it depends on what's your style. Like if you want a true legit point guard that's gonna play defense, you'll go with not Tim, but the other one. I can't think of his name, Mark. But if you want someone to shoot that 3, you gotta go with Tim Hardaway, man. He let it rain.
Okay, so you got the Hardaways and Mark Jackson. I'm not mad at that.
What just happened?
I don't know what just happened.
What just happened?
I was going to ask you.
I thought Guru wanted to jump in on the topic. I
was like, my boy. He just looked at me.
You missed an hour and some change, my guy.
Alana, who you got?
Honestly, I would have to agree with Mike and Coach. I would go Penny, Tim, and Mark Jackson. I think you gotta have Penny at 1. I mean, just even without Lil Penny, you gotta have Penny at 1 because what we're seeing nowadays, as far as like guys in their handle and their crossover, that's Penny Hardaway. Like what I'm saying, like that. All day long, and just the flashy and just the coolness of it. Like that's all Penny Hardaway. And let's not forget, like Penny Hardaway, as far as like shoe wise, he was up there with Jordan. Like he was selling shoes. Like Penny was selling out the stores with the shoes.
Yeah.
Still to this day, like still what phone posits to have since all that. So let's not get it messed up. And then Tim Hardaway, obviously same thing, crossover is insane, and he could shoot the 3 ball. Mark Jackson, I think if we were ranking better leader, he would probably be number 1, but he's number 3 just for the simple fact that Let's keep it honest. We as NBA fans, we like the flash, we like the fun, we like the, the swagger of it. And Mark was just, he was like a Jimmy Butler. Honestly, he was just a get it out the mud dog kind of player. And and that's great. But when it comes to this list, he got to be 3rd. I'm sorry, he just had to be 3rd. So that'd be my list.
So I'm with you guys in terms of the list. I agree. But if we were talking pastures, then Mark Jackson would be 1. If If we were doing this the list in terms of passes and ability to see the floor, I would probably put Mark Jackson number one. Guy's fourth all-time in assists for a reason. But Penny Hardaway changed. He was like the second coming of Magic Johnson. Like there was nobody at that size that was playing a point guard position. So he was a game changer. And then, of course, Tim Hardaway with the killer crossover, he had a move that everybody emulated, everybody tried to copy, everybody tried to add their little sauce to. So you got to definitely put him. And he had killer. He was a closer too. He wasn't afraid to take a big shot. Ben Simmons. So you gotta. So yeah, I agree with you guys. So it gotta go Penny, gotta go Tim, and then gotta go Mark Jackson. All right, that's a wrap on this edition of Real Talk. Want to say thanks to Coach and to Mike and to Alana for jumping in with me. We'll be back on Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And so until then, enjoy the rest of your night, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your sports, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Yeah, thank y'all, fellas. Peace out.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces.